All right, we are live right now. I like to give it just a few moments for some folks to enter in and join us here. Um, yeah, we'll just give it a few more minutes if that's okay. I did pull before we start here. Sometimes I'm guided to bring a stone in particular, and I was today. And I've been working with this stone a lot lately, but what I was guided to was amethyst, which specifically relates to the heart and opening up of the heart. So all right, well, we will get started. Welcome, everybody. My name is Tiffany Hillcook, and I run a spiritual practice called The Healing Hill. And on Thursdays at noon Pacific time, I go live with individuals who have volunteered their energy, their time for free channeled readings with spirit. And today, Miss Donna has so graciously and vulnerably volunteered. I do want to share, though, in the description box below, you should see a contacts tab. If you are interested in receiving a reading from me, please send me a message. Just say I'd like to get a free reading. And I listen to my heart and my stomach. And if it feels good, I move forward. If it doesn't feel good, it may be that I'm not the right resource for you, or it may be that it's just not the right time. So I have met Donna. We met at a women's group at a mutual friend. And we've met before and had a couple of different interactions in the past. No worries. Donna is also working right now. So she may have to interact with a customer, or may have some calls coming in, which is totally okay. But Donna, do you mind introducing yourself, just saying a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get started on the reading.
Yeah, I'm Donna, and I own Save the Day Floral downtown Arlington. Yesterday was one of the busiest days. Mother's Day tops it all, though. I'm working today at Savvy Garden for her because she is at the garden show downtown Seattle at the convention center, and my son is watching my shop as there's probably little to no activity as because of yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Donna, and just to let everybody know, Donna is in Arlington, Washington. Um, so we're going to just get into this. The energy that came through, and your team showed up here about an hour ago. And the first energy that I had was just a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of nervousness, and a little bit of excitement. But the information that they wanted to share with, how do I want to start this? Because of what you do, and because of the time the date that just passed, you have been engaging with your mind quite a bit. There's been a lot of, ordering, tracking of things, checking off things in your mind. And
Right.
what they would like you to do is to find ways, now that this wave and this rush is in the past, is in the current moment, how can we be less identified and attached to thought, and more connected with heart and with feeling and what is in the present moment. We just met recently, like within the last month. And I do know, without oversharing, that you've also got some things going on with your family currently from a health perspective. And
Correct.
so I get that also is I don't want to call it a distraction, but that is also, what your spirit team does want to call it that. Because how do they want me to describe this? Thinking about whatever the experience is, I don't want to call it a problem, changes nothing.
Okay.
Thinking about it changes nothing. And
Correct.
actually, what it does is it creates more narratives and stories that generate more feelings of, what I get is, in particular, is guilt. I get the feeling of, I don't want to say helplessness, but how can I fix this? What can I do to fix this? How can I make this be better?
Right.
And which are all honorable in their intention, but the way that it's making you feel physically is almost, I don't want to say flighty, but it winds you up is how they
Right.
describe it. You
I feel
get wound.
kind of like a puppet.
Tell me more about what you mean.
Hi, ladies. um, I feel like I'm on stage
Yeah,
and I'm looked at as in to orchestrate the health care for my mother.
yeah,
And I feel like no matter if I went left of the stage or right of the stage,
yeah,
somebody's going to be pulling those strings to try to make me perform in their best.
yeah.
And it's like that's not what I'm there for.
Correct. Um, who is, out of curiosity, actually, your spirit team says it doesn't matter who.
Right.
So I don't need to know that piece. Um, what they would like you to do would be, and we can do this in this moment, is if we were to come up with two things, whether they be core values like the word integrity or trust or love,
Right.
uh, or it could be, knowing that I'm doing my best, or that I have the best interests of this family member in mind. What would be two things that you can anchor your decisions to? So, because no, you're going to piss people off just by existing, unfortunately, or fortunately, like
So
it,
true.
and there's even people in my life, sometimes I'm like, God, my dog, sometimes I'm like, do you have to breathe like that? So I experience it with other people too. But
Right.
what could be a couple of things that are important to you in the decision making process associated to that family member, that are going to be, rooted in some sort of intention, so that you can say, because here's the thing, there are no wrong choices.
Right. Right.
There are no wrong
Right.
choices. And so, can you think of one that would be, that's something that you can anchor yourself to associated to those decisions?
Um, I just keep going back to when they make the comments because I've made a decision. Because right now I'm navigating my mom's health care for her. I am her power of attorney of her health care and her finances, which I've been doing that for 23 years now since she moved in with me. Not her finances, but the other, but I always helped her with anything she needs help with. And for some reason, since my mom has had a brush with death, a lot of people are coming out of the woodwork with opinions on what she should and shouldn't be doing and how I should be handling where she's at, what hospital she goes to, who is her doctor, what her doctor's giving her, what medication she's on. I'm like, you, you've never had interest in any of this in all these years. Why now? What's your motivation?
Yeah. Well, you have probably heard of the idiom or the saying, it's not you, it's me,
Right?
or nothing anybody ever does is about you.
Yeah.
So the inverse of that as well, though, is nothing I do is ever about anybody else.
Right. Right.
And that's a hard one sometimes for people, because they say, well, they were doing this and they were doing that.
Right.
Everything that you do or someone else does is a trauma response, is
Correct. And I have a ton of that.
is programming or conditioning.
Yes.
So my original question was, what is something when you're making decisions that you can tie your intentions to?
Right.
And it may be, I love my mother unconditionally.
Right.
So every decision I know I'm making under the intention of unconditional love for her.
Correct.
So no matter what anybody else says about it, I can feel confident and grounded in my choices, because what it sounds like right now is you make choices and then you second guess the choices based off of the opinions of others.
Correct. Spot on.
Yeah, which
I'm like,
something that I had to learn is that opinion is the lowest form of knowledge because it requires no information and no accountability. You can just, oh, I somehow just released balloons there. I don't know how I did that. Um,
they, they came right out of the air, and I was
they
like, that's
really
beautiful.
did. I don't know. Sometimes I know there's a couple that I can do where, anyways. So also reminding yourself that opinion is the lowest form of knowledge. So these individuals, the other thing to remember, and I want to think about how I want to say this, because part of it they're tying it to is a little bit of judgment associated to success as well. That these people, I perceive them to be more successful, more capable. And so, because if you didn't, you wouldn't, their information that they're sharing with you wouldn't have any influence. And
Right.
and I'll say this as well, and I may be butchering this exactly, but there's a quote that goes something like, individuals who are more successful or have more consciousness will have zero input or care into what you are doing.
Correct.
It is the ones who are less successful, that are at a lower vibration, that will have some sort of an opinion about what you're doing
Correct. I
and
think it
try.
also stems that I'm the baby of the family.
It could, yeah. Tell me more about that. What's
Um,
the belief system?
it's just they've always just found themselves over me, bossed me. Welcome in, and always have been in charge of me, and I think that now now it's kind of role reversed, and so it's difficult. Good morning.
Yeah.
I'm
You
just
are,
on a Zoom call. Feel free to shop about.
yeah, I was going to say, you are inspirational because you're in a very vulnerable place right now and you're in public doing this, not
Right.
only like virtually, but like literally in public. So
Nope.
uh, I just want to say thank you for that. That's very courageous of you. Um, so and I'm actually working on a course right now that's going to come out in about 6 months. And it's about mind, body, and soul. And one of the things that the focus on the mind part is reframing, reframing identity, reframing the words, because absolutely we are born into roles and we play many, many roles in our lifetime.
Right.
Um, and I'm not the baby. I was the eldest. And then I was the middle because my parents divorced and remarried. I don't really remember being the oldest, but I certainly remember being the middle. And I remember being left out of a lot of things. I felt very isolated a lot of my life, and all of it was by design. And also, I think there was a little bit of envy from my two sisters. Friendships came easily. I'm a natural athlete. There's an easy charm and charisma to me in large groups that they just don't have necessarily. And so, um, so being you can also, let's talk about how would we reframe that. Um, because every time, and you probably know this, but every time that you say things to yourself, you are essentially repaving these circuits within the brain
Right.
that revalidate the information.
Well, we got to
So,
stop that.
right. So that's why we got to figure out, what do we want to say instead?
Right.
What is the belief system instead?
Right.
Um, I love my mother unconditionally,
Yeah.
and I am a powerful being.
Correct.
I am capable. I trust myself completely. Those
I love
could be, yeah. Um, can you think of anything that's hard for or difficult for you to say, specifically with your family?
um, you can trust me to make the right decisions. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
why I have a hard time with that.
Mm, mm,
Like, I don't feel like they trust me.
mm.
And I don't understand where that stems from because I've never been untrustworthy. But yeah,
So
I feel like they do trust me.
you do, or you feel like they don't or do?
Don't, don't.
Okay, beautiful. So spirit's wanting me to take you back to where we were um, like 10 minutes ago when I had shared that nothing anybody ever does is about you.
Correct.
Actually, everything that you or I do is about us.
Correct.
So if someone is incapable of trusting you,
It's me.
then well, no, 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 no. It inherently means they're incapable of trusting themselves.
Oh,
It has nothing to
to do with me.
do nothing. They are incapable of trusting themselves.
Mm, makes
That's
sense.
where the fear comes from.
Okay.
So they start to project that insecurity in the form of dismissing, in the form of controlling, in a variety of forms of being petty, gossiping, complaining. All
Right.
it can be in a variety of
Manipulative.
100%.
Yeah.
And so you have to remember when they're doing those, this is not about me.
Yeah.
This is about their inability to trust, and it's not my responsibility to teach them how to trust.
Right. Correct.
All I can do is show up authentically as myself
Right.
and know that I'm making every decision with the best interest of my mother uh,
Correct.
in in mind. So, let's see here. What else? Something that they're bringing up that would be very helpful for you is, and I get that you work around plants all day, but how often are you outside, like on a walk?
And this, since the beginning of this year, hardly not. And I usually walk 2, 3 times a day. And I
Yeah,
have not been, and I need to get back to that.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
even saying that makes me
Excited or some emotion? What was the
emotion. Like I'm neglecting myself.
yeah, yeah. Are you familiar with Lee Harris? He has a YouTube channel, and he does what's called an energy update monthly. Are
No,
you
huh?
familiar? Okay. I was listening to his today, this morning on February, and what he had shared about is this year in particular is about deep transformation for folks. The
Right.
year of 2024 is going to be about deep transformation. And they're saying that it actually started in about November of this year, not January, but the energies of the new year started to come in. And so, for a lot of people, because of this transformation component, um, there's going to be parts of you that are going to feel overwhelmed by the transformation that's happening. And so, some old habits might creep back in.
Okay.
So just to give yourself some patience there.
Okay.
Um, do you have any questions in particular that you, because that's how spirit's making me feel. Do you have a question in particular that you would like to get some help with?
Um, no, I think I'm okay. You're always so spot on. Like
Mm,
always. Like
mm,
the other night when we were at Amy's, like
yeah.
that was exactly what was heavy on my heart. That was exactly what I needed to hear. I actually have been saying that to myself when it
Mm,
comes to like I was sick on Friday and the hospital was like bullying me to discharge my mom. And I just put the ball in my siblings court and said, I'm taking a pass today. You
wow.
know, you need to figure this out. I'm not in charge.
Wow.
And
How did
and
that feel?
uh
Because I can
it
feel
felt,
maybe two emotions.
yeah, I felt guilty at first, but then I felt like no, I've been handling this up until this point. She needs to know how it feels to sit in the hot seat and be the one to make the decision.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you. Your spirit team is as well. Because the other thing too that you have to remember is your every decision that you make that is, let's say, one that might be rooted in a little bit of fear or that
Right.
might be more difficult to make, that's years and years, like ancestrally,
Yeah.
that you're transmuting that energy into
Nice.
one of love and self-love
Right.
versus I just need to do this because this is what women do
Yeah.
and this is what my responsibility is.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
need to practice to stop abandoning myself.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
huge abandonment issues, and it all stems from me abandoning myself first because I don't follow my does it have heck yeah energy, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And
What
then
a
I end up
beautiful awareness though.
doing mediocre things because I didn't check my heck yeah energy meter.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
And
like when do you remember that being at the root of uh your behaviors? Like do you remember as a young child prioritizing other people?
um, I've always been a people pleaser since I was a small child because it stems from the whole left hand, not being able to use my left hand. And so I was not good at writing. I couldn't
What do
write
you
numbers. So I wasn't good at arithmetic. I wasn't good at art. I wasn't good at sports because I was in a Catholic catechism where they were trying to correct the left hand problem. And
Wow.
so I was left feeling like I wasn't good at anything. So I became the one thing I could be good at, and that was people pleasing.
Serving. Yeah. Serving others. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I did
Um,
that. Could you try? So I became this huge people pleasing, serving, and denying my own self
yeah.
for the sake of others.
Yeah. 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 When did you start to notice in your soul that that behavior was no longer working for you? Because it
Probably,
works for a while, you know?
probably back when COVID started, I started feeling this shift
Yeah.
of this coming in and needing to serve myself more. Like I
Yeah.
went to a women's retreat, and they were asking how what you did on a daily basis to fill your own cup up, and I was like, "What's that?" And
Yeah.
and then we kind of did this timeline therapy where I did this breath work session, and
Yeah.
I went back to when I was a little girl. And this makes me
Mhm. Mm.
and feeling like I couldn't do the times test because I couldn't even write the numbers, and
Mm.
thinking, why am I so slow compared to everybody else? Why can I not even form the numbers? Not making the connection that I wasn't being allowed to use my left
The
hand.
common hand. Yeah.
Yeah, and just feeling so inadequate to everybody around me, and
Mhm.
thinking, why
Mm.
why why am I being punished? Like, why am I so bad?
Yeah.
And then just making that breakthrough of that's what was really going on, is that you just went through a really difficult time in your life, but look at how you've blossomed from it. Like, and look at how far you've come, and you just need to start choosing yourself. And when you start choosing yourself, though, when people are used to depending on you doing everything for them, they start pushing back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had a lot of pushback in this last 3 4 years.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this space also when you're going through a transformation where essentially you're jumping timelines and we can jump timelines many times even in one day, but
Right.
where you haven't quite established what that net, so your friendships kind of end and you
Yeah.
haven't quite defined who Donna is in this next
Correct.
chapter. So then you haven't you're not able to quite connect on with new friendships quite yet because you're still discovering who you are
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. Yeah.
And I have a lot of relationships that don't serve me that I need to stop serving them
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
just they aren't like they're closed off where I'm doing all the friend part.
Yeah.
Like, would they be there for me like I am there for them?
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
they're not, then that's not my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really hard because a part of me really wants people to like me because I felt so broken as a child. What's so bad of people not liking you? As long as you like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, at the end of the day, I really love me. I really am a good person. And all my intentions are always good. So how could people question them?
Yeah. Because it's based off of their own trauma
Right.
and their own conditioning and their own programming. What you do is never about, and it has nothing to do with you, somebody else's response. And
Right.
the other thing your spirit team wants you to know is that part of the reason that that is so hard to let those relationships go, because it's almost like a part of you you're letting go as well.
Yeah.
It's like a part of you is dying in order for a new part to be reborn.
Correct.
And that's not easy for anyone to do.
No.
What, and they could be lifelong friendships that
Yes.
you're realizing that this isn't serving me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just know that in time, you'll know when that decision needs to be made. And it may get to a point where your heart just can't take it anymore. And you may not be able to even do it gracefully, and that's okay. Sometimes you just gotta, like, I have gone out with a bang in quite a few relationships. To the point that my anxiety is so high I can't even talk. I don't know if you've ever been in a fight like that where you're
Oh
so
yeah. Yeah.
you just can't, you can't even find the words.
Yeah. You're just so upset.
Um, so upset,
Yeah.
exactly, because you were wronged, and then you suppress. You're like, well, they're a nice person, and then
Yeah.
something else, they took advantage of you, and you're like, well, maybe I misread that,
Yeah.
and then it happens again, and it's like, but the soul knows, the
But
soul knows.
that and when they know that they're going to need you, they kind of love bomb you into coming
Yeah,
back to the relationship, and
yeah,
then they drop the bomb that
yeah. What they need, or yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
exactly, yeah,
And they've almost guilted you into doing it by this point because they've just, showed up for this little window. Oh, I'm
yeah,
always there for you. I'm always been there for you. I've always helped you.
yeah,
And
yeah.
now you're trying to make a withdrawal out of a bank that's overdrawn
Correct. Yeah.
because you showed up with your $10.
Yep.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
then you're the
Not
bad
even,
person.
it was a promissory note. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
even, it wasn't even the actual money. It was like, you can cash this in 2027, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Um, yes.
There's
Yes.
so many relationships in life that I feel like I'm the banker and they
Yeah.
have reckless spending
Yeah.
and then they want to have extended credit. And
Yeah.
it's like, how
Yeah.
long does the bank keep a relationship with you when you're like that?
As until the bank decides no longer is the
Yeah.
account current.
And
Yeah.
how mad are people when the bank shuts the account down?
It doesn't matter because
Yeah.
remember, their response says
Not
nothing about
right.
you.
Right. But I'm
That's
just like trying to
yeah.
prepare myself mentally that it's okay if people are mad.
Oh, it's more than okay.
Yeah.
I've even in the last few days, I've been working on something and exchanging some emails with somebody, and I started to feel quite a bit of anxiety from this person. And we're all capable of this. May not all be telepathic, and we may not all know exactly what the thoughts are, but we know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can feel that. You can feel what someone's thinking. They don't even
Yes.
have to say it. And I decided I just am not taking that energy on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can keep it.
Yeah.
Um, and so one day what is gonna happen, how they're describing it, and we're up on the 30 minutes here, is one
Okay.
day you're gonna decide, you're gonna make a different choice in the moment. And it's gonna be one that how they're describing it is it's not even like you can prepare for it. And what I mean by that is like I've been in relationships that I knew were failing, but
Right.
I didn't know how to get out of them. So I would tell myself that they had to do the most egregious act,
Right.
violate you or, abuse you verbally in the most, I would even sometimes daydream about them physically hurting me, like domestic violently hurting me just to
Right.
say, I told you so.
Yeah. Yeah.
This I will not take. And so, um, what they're saying is that there's going to come a moment where you make a different choice in relationship to the response. And to plan it isn't going to help because it's going to be in the moment that you're going to actually see. Because how they're describing it is you don't see an option as another choice,
Right.
but there always is another choice. And
Right.
I've been in I have karma in my life that I don't see. Other people can see it clear as day. I don't see it until one day I can go, oh, I'm going to do something. I'm going to make this choice. I didn't even realize this was a choice.
Right.
And that's going to start to augment and give you some more freedom and permission. But you may even want to say to yourself, I have permission to change my mind. I'm a good person. I'm a good friend. I have permission to release energies that no longer serve me. Um, I serve, I'm in alignment with God. I make decisions based off of love, not fear. I
Right.
trust myself. I mean, all of those you could say to yourself. But just know that continue to evolve however feels good. Like you said, like the heck yeah decisions, however
Yeah.
feels good. And just know that if you follow that as a beacon, you will transform. It may not be at the clip or the speed at which you're seeking. It will happen though, simply because our thoughts become things.
Right. Correct.
Just know that and remember that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Tiffany.
You're so welcome. And they just really want you to go out, even just to go sit outside on a park bench or something. Just go outside and be in nature, stare at a bird, listen to the birds. That will help ground you as well.
Right.
So,
Thank
okay.
you.
And I just know that I love you. You are
I
loved. And your spirit team just wants you to know too, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not a broken toy.
Oh, so true.
You know? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Well, you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so
Thank you.
very, very much for um, joining me today. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be in each other's energy in the future.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Bye.